Um, this is a little makeshift video here on the fly to pass on some information that I just got. Sorry if it's a little shady or a little sun glare, but I had to just jump on here real quick and pass this information on. If you guys have been following each part of my process of getting my carry permit, you know that it's up at the appellate division and it's been sitting there for a long time, just waiting for a court date, or a hearing date. Today I found out that my case, my brief, is going in front of the judge on October 25th. And then it's a 2-judge panel. The third judge only actually comes into play is if it's a split. Then they get an independent third judge to break the tie. But they're going to review, they're going to do research on cases that we had cited and come up with a ruling. Well, let me rephrase that. They're going to independently, the 2 judges are going to review, study, research my brief as well as the state's brief, do their own research on it, then come to a conclusion. Then they're going to get together and come up with a combined ruling or a separate one. They could have different views on it. Could be split 1-1. Then they're going to decide who's going to write the opinion, and then I will be notified of the decision, one way or the other. From reviewing the judges that are going to do my case, one is definitely a Democrat. It does not bode well for me to win. It's at least it's going to be a split, and they're going to have to get a third judge. That's just my opinion. The other judge, I didn't really find anything on her. The only thing I found on her was she clerked 2 separate clerkships underneath judges who were appointed by Republican presidents. So I don't know what that means. Is it possible that that she's it leans toward the Republican side? Maybe. Our brief is really hard to argue against. Our saying that Supreme Court says you can no longer do something, and New Jersey blatantly says that they do just that. You could be talking about, the Supreme Court saying you can no longer eat apples, and the state coming back and say we eat apples. And it should be very clear that New Jersey's violating the Supreme Court. So regardless of if you like guns or not, you own them, you have carry permits, or you hunt, or you don't like them at all, the fact is, just like if it was another amendment, if the Supreme Court says you are not allowed to do something, and the state does just that, that's a clear violation. I mean, this is word for word. This isn't what they're doing is not a, what's the word I'm looking for? Is not sorry, I just went blank there for a second. But it's not an interpretation. This is literally a word for word phrase. The Supreme Court twice said, New Jersey, you cannot do this no more. Not specifically to Jersey, but that nobody, no branch of government can do this no more. And New Jersey blatantly says, hey, we still do this. So, regardless, we should win the argument because they are violating the Supreme Court. But that doesn't mean anything in this corrupt state. We are gearing up for going federal if this doesn't go our way. So that is ready to go. Been nipping at it, waiting, so we can know where we need to go. So I don't know how long it's going to take them to come up with their ruling. And frankly, as long as it's before Christmas, I don't care. I just wanted to get an idea of when my case was going to be heard. And now that I have that, I know it's going to be on the 25th. Mark will actually get his heard before me, which is the 22nd, mainly because he's in Team 2 at the appellate division, and they had less cases in front of them, even though I was in Team 1, and I was about a week and a half ahead of him. It's kind of equaled itself out now, and his case is going to be heard 3 days before mine. But a separate team, a separate group of judges. So it is very possible that he wins and I lose, or I win and he loses. You know, it could be that way. And then, honestly, I don't know what happens.